Imagine a judge from a different empire declaring your ancestral faith illegal. Worse, he's handed every building, cemetery, and cent your community owns to a man your elders had never even met. This is Sheikh Memon Street in Bombay. In the 14th century, this was the heart of the Khojas, a prosperous mercantile caste that operated with complete self-rule across Western India. Their religious identity was called Satpanth, or the true path. It was a fluid blending of local Hindu customs and Islamic theology that functioned without a central bureaucracy. They utilized Sunni clerics for weddings, followed Hindu laws for inheritance, and managed their own communal wealth through local councils of elders. This local self-governance drove centuries of economic success, but that very prosperity is what eventually made their assets a target. The center of their communal life was the Dasavatar, a vernacular poem that captured their unique blended heritage. As this diagram shows, the poem maps out the 9 traditional incarnations of the Hindu God Vishnu, but identifies the first Shia Imam, Ali, as the 10th and final incarnation. For the Khojas, this text was a spiritual bridge that united a diverse people. It was a poetic work of devotion, not a legal contract demanding submission to a foreign leader. As long as the Khojas controlled their own buildings and texts, they remained autonomous. Then, a man arrived who realized he could use their own poetry to claim ownership of everything they owned. Hassan Ali Shah, the first Aga Khan, was an aristocratic Persian nobleman. In the 1840s, he fled political unrest in Iran and arrived in Bombay seeking a new base of power. Upon arrival, he immediately demanded mandatory financial tithes from the Khojas and claimed absolute personal ownership of the communal properties they had spent generations building. Many Khoja leaders resisted. They argued their mosques and wealth belonged to the local community, not to a newly arrived nobleman. The Aga Khan retaliated with threats of excommunication. He used social boycotts to cut dissenting families off from their own community until they submitted to his financial demands. Spiritual authority was no longer used for local community guidance. It was now being used as a mechanism for wealth extraction. In a final attempt to protect their assets, the Khoja dissidents took the Aga Khan to a British colonial court. This document outlines the 1866 Aga Khan case. During the trial, his lawyers presented the Dasavatar poem as proof of a formal conversion. They argued the 10th avatar proved the Khojas were historically Shia Ismailis, legally binding their properties to the Aga Khan. Judge Joseph Arnold ruled in favor of the Aga Khan. With one decision, he legally erased the community's fluid heritage and handed absolute ownership of their wealth to a single man. The ruling effectively turned a self-governing merchant class into a revenue stream, legally required to fund the private estate of the Aga Khan. Following the trial, a once independent people became a captive audience. Their community-built assets were no longer their own. The system of control was absolute. The Aga Khan asserted that these financial tributes were a divine obligation, and any refusal resulted in total social exile. This created a system where families were forced to pay heavy tributes under the threat of losing their place in their own society. This history shows how easily religious authority can be reconstructed into a tool for concentrated wealth and personal control. The Christian understanding of God offers a different perspective. It introduces the Trinity, one eternal God in 3 persons, existing in a relationship of perfect, selfless love. God the Father did not send Jesus Christ to demand a percentage of your income. He sent him as a servant. Jesus stepped into the dirt of our world to wash the feet of his followers, asking for nothing in return. On the cross at Calvary, Jesus shed his own blood to pay the price for our sins. He didn't come to collect a debt. He came to pay one. You don't have to live in a system of spiritual transactions. You can step away from that burden and turn to Jesus Christ today to find true, unburdened grace.